about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not ready.
Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with my mid-month wrap-up. So if you're new here, I do these every month around the 15th, and I will wrap up everything I read in the first half of the month, and then at the end of the month I will come back with my month wrap-up. I will tell you all of the stats and details of everything I read, page counts, all that good stuff. But here we're just going to go through all the books I read in the order I read them, and I'll talk about them. So let's get right to it. I have already read 17 books this month, so I am filming this wrap up just a smidge early because I was like, you know what, I feel like I can call it. All right, so in the order I read them in, first up we have Run Posey Run by Kate C. Wells. This is the first Kate C. Wells I read. She is the talk of Twitter. She will come up twice in this wrap up, and I gave Run Posey Run 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked this book. This book surprised me a lot. It was not what I expected out of a mafia romance. It is definitely steps outside your normal mafia romance setup because we do feature a heroine basically being kicked out because she's being blackmailed by someone with a old sex tape and a new date on it to make her current lover Dario think that she is cheating on him, and it follows her going on the run to hide from the mob so they don't kill her, and then him bringing her back into the fold and them like reconnecting. And he is full on a sociopath. He really does have no feelings for anyone but her, and we just really follow that storyline. It was really, really good, but big time content warnings for like kidnapping, revenge porn, sexual assault, having sex unwillingly kind of, slash like not maybe as communicative as it should be. I don't want to say rape necessarily because she agreed to it, but it was very not as consensual experiences, and her learning from that and like why she was doing that. I loved this. This is on Kindle Unlimited. Highly recommend if you want a standalone mafia book. Then I read Witchling by Yasmin Galorn. This I read for Nicole's Who Picked This Book book club. I joined them on that live, and that book, I gave it 3 stars. I like half curious enough to continue the series, but then I realized how big the series was and I said I'm done. So this set us up for an interesting love triangle, but one of the heroes just vanishes, or a polyamory thing. One of the heroes just vanishes this whole book, and we kind of have an interesting world, but this book included so much body checking that for me it just was not always the greatest to read. I try really hard to avoid these things in books. I've talked about it before. I don't love seeing eating disordered things in my books because I personally don't want to be triggered and like sent back down a spiral that I don't need to visit. So yeah, this was interesting. I thought I had a really neat setup. I listened to it through HOGLE or the library, so if you're curious about it, definitely could check it out. I had been looking for more witch books that I'd never heard of. This was one of them, which is why I wanted to read it, and I was really hopeful. I think we all left the book feeling like, okay, that happened by the time we were done with it. Then I read my next 3 Immortals After Darks, which were all 5 stars. Dark Sky was besides 1, so they were all 5 stars but 1. So we had Shadow's Claim, McGreeve, and Dark Sky. Dark Sky was a 3.5 for me. I like it more than I like Declan's book, but I still don't love Dark Sky. I have a whole vlog dedicated to these 3 books, so I'm not going to go into details because they are so much later in the series. But if you're curious, I will link to that vlog in the description box for you. And if you want to join us for the Immortals After Dark read along, we are almost done, but you can still come chat with us in the Discord as you read the book. Then I read Sanguine by Sierra Simone. This is a 99-cent novella I picked up. This was in the Australia bushfire anthology that was put together last year? I think it was 2020. I'm not positive. Anyways, I read this. This is an MM vampire and former vampire hunter / priest. And it was really good, very quick, very good. And I had a little preview at the end for her next book, Saint, which is coming out, and it is an MM romance as well, and I'm very excited. I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a very quick novella. It's very hard for me to like 5-star a novella, like short story situation, because I'm like, I don't know. I just don't have like the right barometer for it yet. Then I read Ivan by Roxie Rivera. This was all part of the Mafia readathon weekend. This was really interesting. It was, again, a quick novella. I gave Ivan 3 stars. I felt like it was a really good setup, but it's only 111 pages, and it was one of those books that I felt like needed more. But I am curious enough to continue this series by Roxie Rivera, so I will probably be slowly picking up these books digitally as I just get gift cards and things to read them. I'm taking my time to read through them, but yeah, I like this. It was interesting. He's kind of out of the Bratva, but not, and it follows him helping this woman who's trying to find her sister who has a really bad drug addiction, and it was just really honestly pretty sweet and cute for the most part. Again, lots of content warnings here around mafia stuff, so drugs, kidnapping, rehab, death of family, attempted murder, assault on our main characters. Yeah, a lot happens, but I just want you to be forewarned on that. Then I read one of my new favorite mangas that I'm so hyped for volume 2 on, and that is Yakuza Lover volume 1. So this just came out, and I decided to save it for the Mafia readathon when I saw it was announced, because I was like, oh, perfect. And this follows a girl who gets saved at a party by a Yakuza mid-level boss, and it's their relationship over, the first volume covers a few months, and it's just about their relationship over that few months. It's pretty steamy, honestly. Not as explicit as some other things I've read this month so far manga-wise, but it's still pretty steamy, and it does feature a really solid romance, and I really, really, really liked this book. It was really fun. I flew through it, and I was just so happy I read it. And yeah, I am like super hyped for volume 2. Then I read The Marriage Contract by KATEE Robert. This is one that was like the oldest on my Kindle, and this follows her O'Malley family, and this one is an arranged marriage. Our heroine is set to be married to another man. Turns out that he's real crappy. Some stuff goes down right in the opening of the book I don't want to tell you about, because I feel like it's one of those ones that's fun to go in not knowing what happens. And her arrangement changes to one of the O'Malley boys, and it's them like slowly falling in love with each other. And I just really liked meeting the O'Malley family personally. They were such an enjoyable group to be around, and I felt like this was a really solid arranged marriage book, and I felt like they covered a lot of mafia stuff really nicely. It kind of hit a lot of the tropes you like in a mafia book. Content warning again for murder and attempted murder, assault, kidnapping, all the things. This one mostly left me the most like excited to read the second book, which follows a sister of the O'Malley, like one of the O'Malley daughters. So I gave this a 3.5. Next, I read Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Gessinger. This is book 1 in the Queens and Monsters series. This is also on KU, and I loved this book. This was a solid 4-star read for me. I walked away so freaking happy I read this book finally. I was surprised by this. So anyways, our heroine in this book is about to be married to this man. He vanishes the day before their wedding. Turns out he left her notes and is wanted by the mob, and this guy shows up and moves in next door, and he's there to see if she knows where he is and to take care of her. Literally, like, take her out, take care of her, and he ends up getting a really big crush on her, and we follow her relationship and him like finding togetherness, like falling in love and what that means. And he is 100% the I will kill for you, I will kill anyone for you, if anyone challenges me on you, I will take them out type of hero. And that was, I love it. As we know, I love that kind of hero, and this was 100% that, and it was de-freaking-lightful. I absolutely loved it. I really liked how everything was handled in this, and I think it really dealt with all of it very well. I do want to give content warnings here for like cheating kind of, and lying stuff, the usual mafia content warnings, kidnapping and death, murder, all that fun stuff. Not that it's actually fun, but I don't want anyone to go into these books like not expecting it. But yeah, it's mafia, so it's got a lot. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one though, and I definitely want to pick up the second book. This is also like very over the top alpha protector type hero, and I love that. Like I think that can be, when I'm in the mood for it, that's like one of my favorite things. And then in a total pivot, I listened to a middle grade book called Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy. This is one I'd had on my TBR for a while. Please stop. I've had this on my TBR for a while. I ended up getting it through Libby and just blasting through it one day because I wanted a quick, easy book to read. This is a middle grade about Sweet Pea who ends up watching her neighbor's plants while she goes away, and this neighbor happens to write an advice column in the newspaper, and it's just about her navigating life while her parents are getting divorced. Her dad comes out as gay, and it's very emotional, but like in a good way, and it really, I don't know, it just was just delightful. It was a warm hug. I love Julie Murphy's writing personally, so if you like that and you haven't picked this up, I highly recommend it. It just was so cute. Then in a complete pivot again, we are gonna talk about Dick Fight Island Volume 1. So I read this on the Tuesday live read-in with some other people, and this might be a 6-star favorite. I'm not sure yet. Am I embarrassed by this? No, not really. Like, it's fine. I really want to put it on my bookshelves, but it's really hard to get a hold of right now. Dick Fight Island is one of the weirdest mangas I've ever read, and honestly, I don't know if you can go wrong giving it a go. It follows all these clans on an island that fight. First to go, first to come loses in the battle, and whoever wins this battle becomes the chief of the clan, or the chief of the island, like the main rulers, and we follow that battle. One of them left and went to the mainland, like to like regular world, and learned something, and then comes back and kind of uses that to their advantage / teaches them about it. It's a very weird, it is a very weird book, and I'm not accurately describing it in any capacity, but it's very, very explicit. I literally couldn't show you a panel of it if I wanted to. I loved it. This just might be a 6-star read. I'm not sure yet. And yeah, I had a blast reading this. It just was so funny, honestly. It really amused me. It was such a fun time. It was so committed to just being over the top, and I appreciate that in my books. Next, I read The Protege by Brianna Hale finally. This is Tamika over at Libraries Tomes traveling book, and a bunch of us have books going around with a group of us to annotate, and this was hers. I was the second person to get it. It took me forever to read it. It is actually like about to be on its way in the mail to someone else now, but Jen, you're reading this next, so have fun. This is a DDLG book, a romance on Kindle Unlimited. This is my first full-length Brianna Hale. I gave it 3 stars. 3.5 stars. I gave it 3.5 stars. I do want to lead with some content warnings on this book though. So we have drug addiction on the page, death of a parent both on the page, liver failure happens, hospice is discussed. It's a lot. This is a guardian ward trope. So if that's not your thing, you're not gonna like this book. I was very surprised by how much I liked this book. So this follows Laszlo and Isabeau, who she is his protege, and he is a conductor of an orchestra, and she plays the cello. He finds her at the age of 8 on the side of the street playing cello for money, and he basically takes her home to her dad and says, you need to let me take care of her so I can like teach her to be even more talented, because she was already like very skilled. And it follows that journey. Nothing happens until she's 18 and she throws herself on him. But we do have flashbacks to him thinking about her being attractive when she was 17, and that squicked me out a little bit. So yeah, but he does talk about like how that's not okay, things like that. Nothing happens fully until she's 20 or 21. It was really hot. It was a really good book. If those moments weren't in there, I would have liked it more. It probably would have been a 5-star then. And I think that this is one that I'm going to say proceed with caution if it interests you, because I do think it's not going to be for a lot of people, and it's definitely not the one I would recommend a lot of people start Brianna Hale with, and I'm sure Tamika agrees. But it was good. It was good. Like, the writing really propelled me through this entire story, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, I had a good time with this. I had a good time, I'm not gonna lie to you. Then I read Twice Shy by Sarah HOGLE. So as we know, I did not like You Deserve Each Other. I thought Twice Shy was a solid 3.5. The parts I really liked of this, I really liked. The parts I didn't like, I didn't like. So what I liked was I liked the setup for the relationship. She moved home to her aunt's house that used to be an inn, and her and this guy are like basically de-junking it because her aunt was a hoarder. And it follows their like slow build relationship. I really loved his anxiety rep in this. So the hero Wes has massive anxiety, like debilitating anxiety with new people and about new things. And I thought that was really, really sweet actually, how it was handled. And to see on page for a hero, we had a virgin hero. Maybelle is like a space cadet though, and definitely like all up in her own daydreams. I really liked the gestures Wes had with her and like the showing of like liking her stuff, but I don't know, Maybelle just didn't sit right with me. But again, I still liked this way better than I liked her first book. So 3.5. It's one of those that I'm like, yeah, this is good. Like, it was fun. Then I read Charge by Kate C. Wells, which I blew through in like under 24 hours. Another KU book. This is again, same author as Road and Posey Run. Gave this 4 out of 5 stars as well. I do want to give a quick content warning on this one as well, because it has there's talk of a sexual assault and rape, shitty parents, and yeah, like shitty parents. So just FYI. And yeah, Charge was really fun. So this is a single parent romance and a motorcycle romance. So she's 21 and he's 30. So he's only 9 years older than her. So is it age gap, I guess? I don't know. I feel like 10 years is age gap, but that's just my brain. Maybe others disagree with me. So Peas is currently scratching her post, of course. This is definitely a single parent romance. So she ended up pregnant at 15 and had a child and went through a lot of shit with her parents. All right, so I hated her parents. They were terrible, but I really liked watching our main characters interact together. Charge was such an interesting hero. He was coming off of a big breakup, and he didn't want a kid, and he didn't necessarily like want to have to be like the step-in dad, but he kind of just, instead of like naturally like, or asking kind of, not in like a bad way, I don't mean this in like he forced himself in, but he wanted to take her on a date and he said, let's just all go on a date, and he took her kid with him and stuff like that. Like, he just naturally stepped into situations to help her without having to be asked, and I found that really hot. I don't know, it just really worked for me overall in this story, and I think it was just such a fun motorcycle romance. I don't usually love them, but I really did like this one. Then I read 2 Christina C. Jones books since that. So I finished Haunted and Coveted by Christina C. Jones. These are both about immortal beings that are black, and which is great, and I love that part of it. So Haunted I gave 3 stars because I felt like it lacked world building around this whole immortal beings thing and like being reincarnated and finding each other situation, and I wanted more of that. And I think I just didn't have the right expectations going in for that. I wish I would have checked some of my friends' reviews first maybe, and then I would have been good. But it still had like top tier smut, great conversations and banter, but I just needed like a little more, just like a little more plot and world building around their immortal being stuff. And then I read Coveted like immediately after, and this is the second book and it follows her sister, and this was, I gave this 4 stars. I don't know if I expected less from it than like, I don't know if I expected less from it because of the first book, so I liked it more, but I thought this one was also really great. This one follows her and it's like kind of a bodyguard romance. I will note though, I listened to it through Hoopla, and on my Hoopla when I downloaded it, chapter 1 was chapter 5, so I had to like shuffle a little like and figure out the plot. I didn't miss much. I kind of figured out what was going on. But yeah, so just be aware if you listen to it via Hoopla that may be an issue. I've reached out to Hoopla and Christina to let them know that happened. I think it might have just been my Hoopla being funky, to be honest with you. But yeah, this was really, really fun, really delightful. Just, you know, slowly chipping away at my Christina C. Jones backlog to read. I want to read all her books. in the next 2 years probably. I don't know if I could do, I mean, if that's all I read, I would finish her books probably in like 2-3 months, but yeah. I'm just slowly picking those up as I'm in the mood, and I'm just really excited about it. I want to try before I like vanish to give you a little preview of some of the stuff I'm reading right now. As I'm filming this, I'm literally filming it the day before it comes out. So I'm currently reading Feed by Avita Weiss for Hoathon, Wondersmith by Jessica Townsend, and If She Says Yes by Tasha L. Harrison. And I'm going to tell you right now that the like first page of Feed I read last night before I fell asleep was freaking amazing, and I'm very excited to finish it today. I'm loving Wondersmith. I really like the Morgan Crow series so far. And If She Says Yes is smoking hot, and I cannot wait to finish it. I'm like getting to the part where they're gonna hook up, and I cannot wait. I actually like put it down to come film. But yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading. Let me know what you're currently reading and enjoying. And if you don't want to do that, you can drop me a ghost emoji in that comment box. I will have links to all of the books I talked about in that description box, as well as links to anywhere you can be my friend on the internet. I will see y'all in just a few days. Bye.